Good morning, good afternoon, depending on when you are watching this. And if you are watching this, that means that you attended my classes at GRITC, either on AI or on conflict resolution. And one of the things that I'd like to do after every conference and after presentations is when I get evaluations back, I sit down with them and I really do look at everything that you write. I really do go through the questions, and I really try to change and improve my programs to make sure that I'm meeting your needs. And so the other thing that I like to do is to make a video like this for you that addresses some of the questions that maybe didn't get addressed during my presentation, and that is if I can, right? If I can provide you with those. So that's what I'm going to do today for a few minutes, and this is going to be some AI stuff, and it is going to be some conflict resolution stuff, but for the most part everyone really had questions around AI, and I do as well. So as we talked about that day, things are so incredibly new and we are still trying to figure it out. So one of the big questions that we had was, how do we detect AI in papers? How do we know that ChatGPT has been utilized, etc.? There are programs that are coming and they're going to be rolled out to you guys. I don't think that you guys have a specific program right now. So I think a lot of the fear that comes around this and the frustration, maybe not so much fear, maybe that's the wrong word. Maybe the frustration part is not knowing, because we're in the interim, because AI is new, ChatGPT, etc. is all very new. We know that kids are going to be using it, but you guys as educators do not necessarily have a foolproof system that says this is what they used it to plagiarize or to cheat or whatever. So I truly do not have an answer for that. What I can say is talk to your administrators, keep the open conversation going with your IT people, talking to the people that are in charge of, providing you guys with backup and information and all of these tools that will be coming to help you, and then find out what they would like for you to do in the interim. So just making sure that we have open conversation on the front end about protocols. I do think that we have to have something in place so we understand, so it's not like, hey, again, the wild, wild west and kids just get to throw everything in ChatGPT and it completely runs their entire school year and they're doing nothing, which I think is a lot of our concern as educators. So that one of the other questions was, how do we specifically use it in the classroom? I did talk about with you guys having conversation around it. I think we start with conversations about it, what it looks like, what it is, how important it is to understand that it is not human, that you are talking to a computer, that it's not a real relationship, talking about plagiarism, keeping that conversation going. And then again, I think you guys are going to get from your schools how it's going to be integrated into the classroom and how they want to integrate that into your curriculum. Let's see. Again, how to stop ChatGPT. This is a really great question, and I feel your frustration. Again, like I told you guys, being a writer and an educator myself, and everything coming organically from my own brain for the last 30-something years, it's incredibly frustrating and scary to think about the fact that our children have access to something that they can just throw a prompt in and is going to do all the work for them, which, hello, immediate gratification, they already sit in that space, so it's like gonna go through the roof, right? This one asks us should I set up an A account with a pseudo email address, and then what legislation is in the works. I don't know about a pseudo email address. You can always do that. I do recommend that, like for social media, a lot for my parents, just to create fake accounts so it's not attached to your stuff, so you can learn about things. You can learn about things in a relatively safe space, if that makes any sense. So it's not attached to your stuff. You're not going to get a bunch of junk around it, but you can play with it and learn about it. Highly recommend getting on apps, sitting down and taking a look at AI, doing your best to learn about it. There are a ton of podcasts out there, and we'll talk about that in just a second, and information that can give you sort of quick, good information that's up to date. Legislation, yes. There is stuff in the works. As soon as AI started launching and ChatGPT started launching and things started happening, of course there are people, I believe, that are in your corner as an educator, that in our corner as parents, that are truly going to do the best that they can and that we can to be able to protect us. It is just going to take longer to set up these regulations. That's the frustrating part. One of the things we have seen with social media and legislation, why it always gets squashed and why we cannot get as much of the protection that we have needed, is because of basically the right to say what you want to say, right? The right to kind of create what you want to create. And companies, big tech companies, wanting to take on the responsibility of protecting our children, saying that that is parents' responsibility. So I do think it is coming. It's not just coming, it's already there. How fast is it going to happen? If history is any great indicator of these things, it's not going to be quick. So again, I think our frustration is this interim. What do we do? And I think we educate ourselves as much as possible. We start with where we are. We're on the front end of this. Work with what we have and continue to have these open conversations with our kids and with our parents. This person asked for specific information on steps to help kids handle social media. One starts with open conversation. Just talking to them about what they are seeing, what they are living every single day. And secondly, there are a ton of really great resources. Common Sense Media is one of them. And I'm going to give you guys, as part of this email, that's a whole list of really cool websites and resources. You can always log on to my stuff. I have resources there as well that can kind of give you a guide of how to have these conversations starting from first grade. I always teach my educators and my parents that honestly we are starting our conversations with our kids the minute they get a tablet. If you give them a tablet at 2, we are having conversations in an age-appropriate manner, and I have lots of information on that as well. You can always contact me if you have a specific age. And pretty soon here, I'm going to have an entire library of information that you guys can log on to, and it will be age specific, and you can see how to have those conversations. So it's pretty cool. Again, I think the questions of how to make AI useful for our kids, I think we ask them too. I think we continue to encourage them in the positive space and say, how's a really cool way that we can use this? Or what's a really great way that you would recommend that we be able to use this? And continue to encourage them to use it in a positive manner. New develops in legislation. Again, that question. I just, again, recommend you guys keep up with as frustrating as social media is, keep up with your social media sites that provide you with this information. I'll have it on mine. There's a ton of others. And again, you're going to get a list of resources in this email. I'm scared. Yeah, I am too. I'm not going to lie, you guys. It feels very overwhelming. And I've been doing this for a very long time now. And I have never felt this overwhelmed or this concerned about what's coming ever. And maybe some of that is because we don't know exactly how it's going to play out, so it is the unknown. We do know that history is not giving us a really great track record of how we've handled social media with our kids, so this is scary for me. More ways to detect the use of AI. Again, I think that's coming. Actually, I know that's coming, you guys, 100%. So here's a tip that may help you feel a little bit better. For every junky thing that's created, so for AI that's been created and can hurt you, there's always the people that are going to make the programs that are going to help us to try to combat this. And we just have to look to them and look for them and see who that is going to be. I'm doing research around this to be able to provide it for you so you'll know exactly who to look for and turn to and what we're going to be able to use. I truly, in true transparency, just do not have that for you right now because I don't know who's sitting in that space yet. More info on the dangers of social media to share with students. There's so much in this space, but I do think a really great starting place for kids is asking them who they're allowing on their team and reminding them of their team and who they're allowing in their headspace every single day and what they're looking at every single day. And is this really how you want to represent yourself? If we just tell them everybody can see this and it's going to be around in 50 years, they don't necessarily have a reference point for that. But if we can appeal to them today and tomorrow because there's such, they sit so much in the space of immediate gratification. So how is that serving you today? And is that something that you're really proud of, right? But there's so much information on that. Again, this person asked for links or articles to explore more on their own, and I think the last one was something along those lines for updates. And that again comes with social media. Drives me crazy, but it's a great place to get a lot of information. So the list that I am sending you guys that is going to have all of the websites that you can take a look at. If you want bite-sized pieces of information, Instagram's where it's at when it comes to educational stuff. I don't love TikToks. I just think there's a lot of, you guys, there's a lot of kid and junk stuff on there, and I don't think you're going to get a ton of this type of support there. But I do think you can log on to Instagram and look at parenting sites, look at counseling sites, psych sites, educational teacher sites, and you will get people that do in the same vein along with the lines of what I do, and they're always giving out great tips and pointers. There's a ton of podcasts, and I think I'm going to add that for you guys so you'll have that information here as well. Again, log on to my stuff. I'm always referencing people, referencing podcasts and different places that you can get information that's going to support you. Mine is protect_our_kids, and it's not a whole bunch of junk. It really is like just a ton of research and educational stuff. So if that's kind of your space, which is mine, I think that you'll enjoy being able to log on and see a bunch of stuff there. Okay, that's all that I have. I don't know that that was incredibly helpful, mainly because AI is so new and we're still struggling. But to kind of sum up, for those of you that are like, what are we gonna have to support us as teachers? Talk to your school, talk to your school, talk to your school, please talk to your school, talk to your powers that be, ask them what's coming down the pipes. In the meantime, do your research and taking a look at what is coming down the pipes so you will get ideas of how to combat it, even if you do not have a system, computer system, digital system, your own AI system to combat the AI system that your kids are using. At least we'll know how to, as I've always said, use our words. And that's the first place we need to start, is using our words and educating our kids. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call me or shoot me an email, kmbcommunications@yahoo.com. And I don't think I told you guys this the other day, but every attendee that comes to my conference gets a 30-minute free consultation post-conference in case there were issues or questions that did not get answered, and hopefully I can walk through those with you. All right, thanks so much, you guys. Good luck.